Guys, we have a problem.
What's up?
What?
I do not remember jack or shit about Pokémon Concierge.
Okay, fake fan.
Didn't we just watch that like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
I mean, we did. Like, here's the thing. There isn't a whole lot that we really need to remember. It's 4 episodes after all. It couldn't be that hard to remember it.
They're not even like 20 minutes either.
And yet I only remember like 2 minutes from the whole thing. I'm not sure how we're going to be able to discuss this one.
Well, whose fault is that for getting into a friggin' mahjong addiction?
Motherfucker.
It's a cool game for cool people, and if I watch it, I can understand Akagi.
Bold of you to imply you could ever be cool, Lone Crit.
Savage.
Anyway, I'm on episode 12, I'm having a lot of fun. Moving on. So, here's what I remember about Pokémon Concierge, just off the top of my head. Sigh. I remember that Psyduck is the MVP in this short anime. I remember thinking how much I would have liked it if the main girl, whose name I already forgot, just kept her original blazer, because I actually liked that a lot more as a cool summer outfit than what she ended up going with. And I remember how hilarious the literal first scene is, where she's like, I stepped into gum, my boyfriend broke up with me, my job isn't going well,
Yeah, yo.
and I stepped into gum again.
Like, what a character introduction, wasn't it?
Yeah, you didn't expect that part from a Pokemon anime, dude. That was so funny, but so sad.
That feels almost like we'd expect from a lot of, like, Western TV shows, like frickin' Timmy's an average kid that no one understands. Mom and Dad and Big Bro always giving him commands.
Wait, are you sure it's not... I'm pretty sure the line is demands.
Yeah, I think it is demands.
Bad twerp.
Fake fan.
Yeah, bro. Why don't you understand the greatness that is Butch Hartman's writing?
Yeah, I bet you don't even like Butch Hartman.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of people don't like Butch Hartman anymore. Have you heard of Bunsen is a Beast?
What's that? That's a fever dream that I do not remember. How about Pokemon Concierge, guys?
I love how we're doing a Pokemon episode and we go on a tangent about Butch Hartman.
It was like 2 seconds. Anyways, Pokemon Concierge was pretty nice. It's a cozy show.
It's very cute. Yeah, actually, I just remembered another thing that stood out to me about Concierge.
The stop motion?
Well, yes, okay. My man, I grew up on, like, Wallace and Gromit and some Aardman shit. I love stop motion. It's very comfy. Actually, I was really taken aback by how shockingly good a fit that is for the Pokemon universe. We're all used to Pokemon being 2 things. It's 2 things. Pixels / so-so CG, like so-so, computer you know what I mean. However you describe, like, the 3D games. They looked better when they were pixely. And no, XY doesn't count. I'm gonna die on this hill. The visuals for X and Y have aged like fine milk.
I mean, they're not great, but they're not as bad as the future games.
The problem is the rest of the games have either not aged much better or have arguably aged even worse.
Yeah.
No, well, like, I remember when I bought, like, Y the day it came out, and I remember playing it and being like, wow, it's 3D, so cool. But towards the end of playing the game, I kept fixating on, like, the visible pixels on the borders of the 3D models. It didn't feel like 3D, it felt like 2.8D.
Yeah, or just how some models very much did not do that great from the transition, like Typhlosion being the obvious main example everybody goes to.
Yep.
But yeah, Gen 7 it looked a little better, and then you get to Gen 8, and it's like, alright, the animations are... It's like that freaking meme of being paid bi-weekly. Alright, we're raking in all the buffet. Week 2, ice soup.
At least Poke can look good.
That is the animations in Sword and Shield in a nutshell. Either like really good stuff or like stuff that just looks well below Wii game pedigree.
I think once or twice I've been called snobby or something along those lines for this statement. But yeah, I don't think Pokemon X and Y look good. I think they've aged poorly. And it doesn't help that aside from the Pokemon, just generally a lot of the visuals feel very unimaginative. I think, ironically, Black and White 2 did 3D in a way that captured the imagination better than X and Y. Because X and Y has 3D models, but you can see the pixels, it feels like weirdly faux, and also it doesn't feel like it does much that's super interesting with the 3D. But Black and White does that really cool stuff where it plays with perspective, so I think you go into like an underground mine, and you see like, they use forced perspective to, like, create a sense of depth when you see, like, some metal beams and such that you pass on to look larger relative to, like, the lower assets. And you go on the bridges, and even though it's technically, like, straight, the bridge kind of moves around you to give the impression that you're kind of moving inwards in a circular pattern. It's very nice.
Yeah, whereas X and Y more or less feels like a 2D game with 3D models, essentially, for the most part.
Yeah.
Lumio City is the only exception, and we don't like to talk about Lumio City.
I don't even remember which one. Oh, was that the Paris one?
Yeah, it's the Paris one.
Yeah. It was a nightmare to navigate through.
It's not- no, come on, it is not that hard to navigate. What the fuck are you talking about?
There are times where you're trying to go to, like, one very specific location. The main problem is the camera. The camera is the real issue. There are so many times when I go into one area because I'm trying to go the exact opposite direction. Or I go into one area, I try to keep moving in that direction, but because of the way the camera is pointed, it brings me all the way back to the other location immediately. And it's like, yeah, I'm able to figure it out, but it's like, it definitely tripped me up a couple times, and that's just annoying.
But here's the thing, CBF. What if, and hear me out, what if? Skill issue.
I'd say it's a camera skill issue, because it never happens anywhere else in any Pokemon game ever.
CBF, I figured this out when I was in junior high school and Pokemon was almost my first video game ever. Just deal.
Yeah, and I guarantee you definitely had some bit of trial and error there.
Listen, you gotta thug it out sometimes, okay, man?
We shouldn't have to, it's a baby game.
I think the only baby thing here is you.
But anyway, back to what we're actually trying to talk about, and by the way, if you think X and Y looks like shit, you're gonna have a doozy with Gen 8, my guy. Gen 8 looks a lot worse half the time.
Is Gen 8 Scarlet and Violet?
No, that's Gen 9. Gen 8 is Sword and Shield. That's the one where all the controversies took place.
I hear that Sword and Shield are just really bloody bland.
They are. But anyway, back to stuff that isn't bland looking.
Concierge looks amazing.
I think the best ones are when it looks great on the furrier Pokemon like Eevee and whatnot.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say!
Those models are so good.
Dude, I know, right? Like, we were all group watching this together, remember? I think we all reacted the same way. I remember I reacted very strongly to where I saw some of the fur textures and I'm like, oh my god, it looks so good!
I want to pet it.
Eevee has never looked furrier!
I want to pet them
yes!
so much.
It looks so fluffy!
The Pokemon looks so petable. To be fair, like, I don't think Psyduck would look furry. In my mind, it'd be kind of like moist rubbery. I don't care. It looks adorable.
It does.
Feathers.
And of course, they got the Pikachu looking right. Which, by the way, I think one of my favorite, I guess, segments of the show is just that little kid that wants to be friends with the Pikachu. It's a sort of like Tale as Old as Time kind of story in Pokemon with a kid.
About kids wanting to befriend Pikachus, yes.
Yeah, and also trying to make the Pikachu be what it's not wanting to be rather than understanding what actually what its vibe is. It's like, oh, this Pikachu is it's a little too quiet, a little too shy. Wanted to be more like all these other Pikachus. But every time that doesn't work out.
Yeah, man, just being a Pikachu isn't good enough anymore.
Yeah, bro, but it's a really nice little story that I feel is like uplifting towards, you know, probably the main target audience, which is obviously children. But on a smaller scale, it kind of reminds me of Paul and the PTSD that fucking Chimchar went through because of him.
Yeah,
in Diamond and Pearl.
Motherfucker Paul. Just like, Chimchar, you're pathetic. You're a disgrace. I'm disowning you. You suck. You're not cut out for this. You're not cut out for my training regimen.
He gave that Chimchar the freaking Heihachi Mishima treatment, dog. Oh my god.
And I just love like how Ash was immediately like, alright, you're coming with me, like right in front of Paul too. He made that man pressed.
Yeah.
Okay. Is Paul really that bad?
Are you real? Are we discussing this now?
If when you compare him to like the average actual player trainer, no. But he basically just like, fuck you, Chimchar. You're done. You suck. Get out of here.
I mean, is he really being that shitty and unreasonable?
Are you really pulling the Paul did nothing wrong with us, Lone Crit? Is this what is that what we're having now?
And he did that in front of other people too. Like in front of a bunch of people.
Look, Paul made some mistakes in hindsight, right? But think about this from his perspective. The bloody thing just isn't working. Paul can't get it to work. What is he supposed to do?
He's forcing it!
Not being an asshole about it. Not being an asshole about letting him go, that's what.
I'm sorry, are we supposed to be understanding that he freaking had Chimchar fight against like 4 other Pokemon all at once? Expecting him to pull a freaking Super Saiyan out of his ass?
Well, look, obviously that's unreasonable, right?
Everything Paul does is extreme and unreasonable towards the Chimchar. That's our point.
I don't remember things in detail, but I'm just saying, in the broad strokes, I can imagine from Paul's point of view, he got like a bum hand. What is he trying to do? He forced it to like make things work out. That failed, he cut his losses and let it go.
The problem is that it wasn't even that much of a bum hand. If he wasn't just up and trying to make him use Blaze all the freaking time, and just trained him normally, he would be alright.
Which is evidenced by Ash managing to do that exact thing. Which is where we got the run back of the century.
Just saying, Paul is not that guy who ditched the Charmander in the rain.
He's not that guy, but he's not that much better. It's hard to be worse than the guy who actively let his Pokemon to die. He could still be a fucking asshole, though.
By the way, you guys remember that time they reanimated the introduction of Charmander, and they actually create that trainer and have Ash encounter him? Now, I haven't seen that special, but I'm just like, boo! We didn't need this! Stop trying to force that guy into the mold of every dickheaded trainer that ditches their Pokemon. We don't need Ash to encounter some douchebag fire-loving motherfucker to prove them wrong.
You know what the grand irony of all this is? Is that Ash was already the one who let go of freaking Charizard the first time.
Yeah, look, Paul is good because we only have one of him, but then we had that douchebag who abandoned his Tepig in Gen 5, and they basically do exactly the same thing as Charmander, right? Like, Ash didn't know him, he got the Tepig, I think? Because initially I think Ash didn't actually meet the guy, but then he encountered the guy, and was like, no, this Tepig kicks ass. You Wongdo.
I don't remember. I honestly, I want to wipe black and white from my memory.
I'm glad I don't remember any of that, especially because Gen 5's anime is ass.
Yes, is possibly the worst.
It's where I stopped watching mainline Pokemon anime, which is a shame because I always hear that the X and Y anime and the Sun and Moon anime are so much better.
X and Y was so good. It was so good.
I saw some of it when it started and man, it looked amazing, and Ash was such a baller in fights.
He is! I quit the show though, and I couldn't continue on because, as I said before, it was because the ending of the league. He still lost the league after all that build up, and it pissed me off. And I just didn't want to do it anymore. I'm glad that he won since that point. I'm glad that he's a Pokemon Master and we're moving on from his story. I couldn't take it.
The way he won is stupid. I refuse to-
What happened? How did he win?
Oh, you don't know!
Yeah, I didn't watch this shit!
Okay. He won Sun and Moon and kind of became a champion by default, even though this was more like a makeshift Pokemon League, because it was a newly formed one, so it didn't have a tradition, it wasn't as small as normal leagues. But then in the Sun and Moon anime, he basically counts as a regional champion and goes into a championship with all the other champions, and for some reason now Iris is a champion, and Cynthia and Steven is also there, and somehow he wins that and becomes the Pokemon World Champion.
Okay, but where's the how part and all that, though?
I was about to say, what's bullshit about how he won that?
he became the Pokemon World Champion. He went from new makeshift league.
No, what's bullshit about him becoming the Pokemon World Champion? How was the win bullshit?
What do you mean what's bullshit about him becoming the Pokemon World Champion?
Like what actually is bad about the fight? Is it as bad as the bullshit losses he had?
I don't know how the fight plays out, but come on, guys, this is...
That is literally the one thing we're here for.
Yeah, wait a minute. He fought you saying that, okay, they gathered the other champions together.
Pokemon Master is what we're here for. Pokemon Master and Pokemon Grand World Champion beat Cynthia are not the same thing. To be a Master, the criteria that's been established is just win league.
No, we're establishing what was so bullshit about his grand big league win. That ultimate league win.
No, I think just him becoming the world champion is the bullshit thing. At that age, it feels like fanfic.
Fuck
and
off.
then
Fuck
he
off.
wins
That
the
is
league,
not even
and then like Iris also became champion. And he beat Iris, and then he beat Cynthia. I'm like, shut the fuck up. No.
Nobody cares about Iris, though. Iris is, one, because Iris sucks, and two, she was already the champion in Black 2 anyway.
Really?
Yeah, Black and White 2, she was the champion.
Yeah, she was.
Okay, that's also stupid.
This is, like, I know it's supposed to be a 2-year gap between Black and White 1 and Black and White 2, canonically, but yeah, ever since then, yeah, she's the champion.
Oh, sorry, you mean champion... Wait, you mean in the anime or the games?
The game.
The game.
Oh, that's different. The games are the games.
I mean, I'm just saying, we have a precedent for Iris. It's like, who cares?
I'm just saying, like, Iris in the games is not like this character that we followed for like 3-4 seasons in the anime, right? That's different.
True, she's so much better by default than what we have in the anime.
Exactly. Like, are you seriously telling me that, like, you know, we saw Iris, she had Axew and Dragonite, Ash dips for, like, indeterminate amount of time, and shortly later now she's in her game drip Champion of Unova?
Yeah, it's like, whatever, it's fan service, blah, we don't care.
Yeah, who was even the actual champion in Black and White?
Older.
I don't even remember them.
Yeah, it was Alder, but the thing is, he's technically the champion, but you never get to fight him for the championship. He's deposed by N in the first game.
Oh, yeah.
So you only fight Alder in post-game.
Hey, wouldn't it be funny if Iris just becomes champion in Black and White 2 because N dipped?
I mean, that's more or less kind of what happened, isn't it?
You're champion, but you didn't beat the previous champion, though.
So exactly what happened to the player character in Gen 1. Oh, you beat me. You're the champion now. Except for the fact that, you didn't beat the previous guy who just became the champion. Blue.
Yeah.
Gary. Alright, I'm gonna beat his ass too now.
By the way, it's extra funny because, like, presumably Iris can't compete against N because he doesn't have Pokemon because he released them all.
Yeah.
So, you know, N is the eternal champion. By the way, you do gotta wonder, though, who was champion before Blue?
I mean, there was no champion before Blue. The highest of the pecking order was Lance.
Yeah, I thought Lance was the previous champ.
How do you know there was no champion before Blue?
Because Lance was like, alright, you beat me. You'd be the champion now, except for the fact that, Blue just beat me like 2 minutes ago. He's the champion now.
That's so weird. That implies that's like the first time they've ever had a champion in the Pokemon League?
Yeah, so either he was just demoted to Elite Four, or he was the champion beforehand.
I think you mean to say 4 Heavenly Kings.
You've either been watching too much Gurren Lagann or too much Isekai Lone Crit.
But that's what they're called in the Japanese, and it sounds cooler.
Okay. Never mind. I take back my assumptions. You got me there.
But you know what else is cooler? I'm gonna say this, okay? And I don't want y'all to judge me. We're all friends.
We're gonna judge you. He's gonna drop a really stupid take.
I'm going to drop an incredibly correct take. Sceptile is cooler than Blaziken.
You know what? Maybe. Maybe.
Okay, I won't fault you. All the Gen 3 guys are really cool.
Swampert is the least cool.
No, but you're not bad to think it.
Okay, we are doing this great starter debate now. Swampert is the least cool of the 3.
Oh yeah, that's 100%.
Fair enough.
But, okay, are we talking Mega Sceptile? Or normal and Mega Blaziken? Or normal Sceptile and normal Blaziken?
It wouldn't make a difference. All of the megas are nowhere near
It's
as
not
good.
your turn to talk, CBF. Let the African-American man talk.
Oh my god. Stop Mexican hate, dog. Holy shit.
Yeah, man, the white man out here just trying to police us. Is because he's afraid of us taking other people's gerbs.
For the sake of correctness, I will point out that CBF is from the south, not the north.
But freaking, I don't think, yeah, like you said, I don't think that makes much of a difference. Because I don't remember Mega Sceptile looking... Honestly, Mega Sceptile's, freaking design is much more mid.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's the megas. They're not as good. Christmas tree Sceptile just ain't as good.
It's not as good. It's almost perfect, but it's still not as, like, perfect as normal Sceptile. You know what? I think which I'd put above normal Sceptile or normal Blaziken. That depends on my mood that day. But how do we feel about Mega Blaziken?
Solid, but also not as good.
Yeah. I have said this before. Out of Megas, 95% of them are equally or less good than their normals. And out of those, almost all of them are less good. Megas were a mistake.
A lot of them were significant downgrades.
They were a stupid gimmick that just worsened Pokemon. The only thing I like is that in competitive play, it adds an additional what-if factor, because if you use two Pokemon that can Mega, it raises a question about which one you're gonna. But I don't play competitive, so I don't care.
That and some Pokemon did actually deserve the benefits, like Mawile. Remember when Mawile became just, like, pretty OP for a while there?
I was gonna say, Mawile is the 5%. Mega Mawile, cooler than normal Mawile.
Right.
I'd also say that Mega Sableye looks cooler than normal Sableye.
No. No.
What do you mean? No, I can't have this. Mega Sableye absolutely looks way better. Mega Gengar looks better.
Whoa!
Mega Gengar,
whoa,
no, except for the
whoa,
shiny. Like, Mega Gengar doesn't look better, it looks around as good. I'll grant you the shiny is so much better, though.
It looks slightly better.
Okay, look, the shiny, which by the way I have, because I bought the game first day, is epic.
I think I'm thinking about the shiny.
Actually, no, I got the shiny on the event. Okay, the normal Mega Gengar is purple, not white. But, to say Mega Gengar is better than normal Gengar is blasphemy.
I'd say they're both around on par. They're around even. It's not a significant downgrade at all.
Normal Gengar is round and has little nubby arms and legs and tiny little spiky hair things. I unironically think that normal Gengar, is like a shiny foil holographic S tier of Pokemon designs. If, like, of like, the 1,000+ Pokemon that exist, Gengar is somewhere in, like, the upper possible zenith of Pokemon designs. Yes, it's in, like, the 1 to 3%.
It's the 1%. It's the rich.
Yes.
It's the rich.
It's purple, though, so I think it'd give you food poisoning if you ate it.
I mean, good luck trying to eat a ghost.
Oh yeah, of course you can't eat a ghost, not with that attitude.
Well, to be fair, if we use Crunch, that's super effective.
That's a good point. So okay, if we had like a tier list of the generational 3 Evo ghost types, I will say Gengar would be at the tippy top, and then like right under that would be Chandelure.
I'd actually probably put Chandelure above him, to be fair, but I haven't actually used him, unfortunately, in my playthroughs.
I'm not talking about plays, I'm just talking about design. Chandelure looks great.
It's just the coolest looking one. Like, it's arguably the coolest looking one. Like, probably more so than Gengar.
A tiny step below Chandelure, I would put Aegislash.
Aegislash is the top for me.
Oh, it's so cool! It's so cool!
And it actually has the best shiny of the bunch.
I'm not sure about that one, dog.
You're probably right. No, I'm actually willing to back him on this. I think the change in color works in its favor.
Yeah, especially like the blood sword, the literal blood edge.
If we can actually like bring this like roughly back to the subject of Pokémon Concierge.
I thought we lost the plot so long ago.
I would like more. I'd like it if we explored kind of this like setting a bit more. Normally I'm against the franchising of things, like Doctor Who right now looks like it's going to be franchised, and I know it was done before to some success, but still, generally speaking, that idea makes me sick, especially in a post-Star Wars, post-MCU world.
Yes.
Pokemon, I'd be cool with. I would just like it if have stories in the Pokemon world. Have stuff that has nothing to do with battling.
I mean, number one, you're saying that about Pokemon of all things, that has long since been franchised hell and back. And number two, we're already getting that anyway. This is part of the decent, it's part of the line of small OVAs, ONAs, just like short anime we've been getting for the past decade.
I mean, just to be clear, I don't mean like singles, because like, I like Pokemon Origin fine, but that's not what I meant.
I mean, not just that, but also stuff like Pokemon Hisuian Snow, Twilight Wings, just like stuff that are just focused on like their specific regions, like little stories in them. Those little side stories that have nothing to do with the main adventure. It's just exploring the region more.
I meant more so things like in the world of the anime, rather than the world of the games. So less like little snapshots, and more just kind of stuff.
I mean, to be fair, this doesn't even qualify as that either.
Yeah, we don't know if this takes place in the games or not.
I know, in my mind it's like in the world of the anime, not like the Ash anime per se, but like it kind of follows an anime like logic, if you know what I mean. Like it takes this thing and kind of like builds it into a little more of an existing thing. Actually, I'm not even gonna say no battle anime, because here's the thing. Ash's goal is competitive, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's fighting. There's more of an emphasis on like training and relationship building. I'd actually be interested in something following something like a little bit more of a Paul character, because he's more of a like fight-oriented trainer.
I mean, you could arguably say that's what the Elaine anime is for.
The what?
There's a what?
Yeah, like wasn't his name Elaine, the Alain, the guy from Gen 6?
Alan.
Yeah, Alan.
Elaine?
There's an I. Wasn't there an I in his name?
I don't think so.
But either way, there was a short anime focused on him for a little bit.
Okay, but I don't want to follow that guy.
Because that guy cheated. That guy had plot armor.
Let me rephrase. I don't want to follow some guy that exists in the anime, like some, like, kinda known character.
You don't want to follow a guy with another freaking Charizard, I get you.
Oh, actually, hey, you know what'd be really cool? If we followed a guy who isn't a pre-existing character, but his goal isn't necessarily League-related, like he's kind of a unlisted ranker, if you know what I mean. If you will, like an underground Pokemon trainer.
That'd be cool, I guess. Yeah.
Or maybe just do one specifically on contests, I don't know.
I wouldn't like that, but it'd be interesting if that existed. What about like a Pokemon Hermit? Hey, wouldn't it be interesting if we followed like a hermit, like a vagabond who like moves around the Pokemon world, has no interest in like competitions, but inevitably gradually gets stronger?
Weirdly enough, we could almost put Looker in this camp. Do you know how many regions that guy has been to?
Yeah, that guy gets around.
Obviously that's not his main purpose. He's mainly there because like, oh, there's a whole bunch of different stuff going on everywhere. But just like the idea of, oh, we have like this one guy. He just goes places and places.
You want the Mushishi of Pokemon? I got it.
I'd put it like this, like an Inui Takumi. Or you haven't been introduced to this character yet, but like Hibiki from Hibiki. Just a guy who does around and does things.
Alright. I mean, I think that'd be pretty cool. But also, just a lot of smaller stories that focus on different aspects of the Pokemon world. Like, where is our honestly, I unironically love a Nurse Joy anime. Unironically.
Okay, Brock.
I mean, to be fair, Longcred, you'd be saying the same thing if he said Jenny. So a police procedural Pokemon anime.
That'd actually be pretty sweet.
Yeah, like, if there's anything I want to franchise, if there's any, like, one franchise that I want to franchise further and see, like, different splintering directions, it'd be Pokemon. I find this world really interesting.
It's a very inviting world.
I'd be interested in, like, following a character who has, like, a particular either abstract or maybe specific goal, but that has nothing to do with pre-existing institutions. Because, like, the League and the gyms are institutions.
Anyway, yeah, this is why stuff like Pokémon Concierge, it's a welcome treat to get every now and then, like, this fun little cute stop motion anime adventure.
It's not competitive in any way, shape, or form, which I think is very different. No contests, no league, and no, I have a secret mission, I'm gonna... whatever Pokemon Ranger is. None of that.
But yeah, that stuff. Yeah, Concierge, good stuff. Good all around. And also, Maria Takeuchi doing the ED, just like, yes. We didn't talk much about Concierge itself, but you know, it's a solid time, a good old 7 out of 10 and whatnot, so yeah.
I'd be happy with more, but I'm good with that. I think I gave it a 6. It gets a decent from me. It's decent.
It's a solidly good time with some great visuals. Just like it's pleasant. You're not gonna remember much about it, but it's a nice thing in the tapestry of the franchise and the direction. Like a light 7, you know.
It's good if you want some Pokemon, any Pokemon, to guzzle down, or you just want to vibe and veg out for like 4 episodes.
Yeah, it's a nice vibe for an hour, because they're like 15 minutes a pop anyway.
Yeah, I think that's the best way of putting it. It's not a thing, it's just kind of a vibe.
Yeah, it's just a nice little snack.
It doesn't feel like it has any particular, like, strongly defined goal or thing to do, it's just there.
Maybe Season 2 will build on that more, now that we have the bond between the main character and Psyduck.
Sigh.
Psyduck.
Sigh.
Psy.